free parking downtown SLO.
Yeah, you heard that right. Just park in the new structure on the Pomo and Palm, across from the creamery. Eat at La Esquina, Mistura, or Mama's Meatball, and they'll validate your parking.
Thank you.
To learn more about how to park free downtown, visit slowfreeparking.com.
You're Up and Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting is here.
Is here.
Up and Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Happy Hump Day. Smack dab middle of the week. Thank you so much for being Up and Adam. My name is Adam Montiel. SLO Cal Studios, baby. Here we are. Downtown SLO. Look, it's always had its cast of characters, its storytellers, its people who don't really just open a business. They help shape the personality of the town they're in. And Leonard Cohen, he might be the epitome of this. He has got his opinions. He's passionate. He's creative. And surprising, all of the time he's got something going on. From the Old Port Inn to Chipino's to now La Esquina Taqueria, Leonard has spent decades building restaurants that feel more like experiences than just places to eat. And now he's trying to help save downtown, one SLO parking spot at a time with free parking across from La Esquina and the new structure. So this conversation goes way deeper than tacos and margaritas. We get into the modern tipping culture that drives him crazy. The untold story of how those iconic glass tables at the Old Port Inn actually happened. His quiet role during the Unical years in Avila Beach. And the new book he's written called By the Glass. That's part memoir, part history lesson, part family legacy with recipes. You know, and somehow we end up talking about World War II pirates, gold, Woody Harrelson, a phone call with the actual Leonard Cohen. This one is pure SLO Cal energy. It is a fun, all over the place conversation. Absolutely love it. Leonard Cohen is Up and Adam today. Now, before that, a few headlines here. More than 17,000 people under evacuation orders in Southern California right now as a fast-moving wildfire, the Sandy Fire, pushes through dry brush, threatening homes, threatening well, you've heard me talk about how I've been going down to Simi Valley to visit my dad. My sister and him actually got evacuated. And I think there might be still under an evacuation order. I mean, you're looking at the map on Watch Duty. The fires are just insane close where they started to her house. I mean, it's all in like red there. But my dad had an appointment the other day and was like, we're going back home. So even under an evacuation order, he was like, hell no, I'm not dealing with this. I'm dealing with too much right now. An evacuation or so. Thank goodness the fires have been blowing southeast and away from the homes since they started like really right next to them. But it's crazy constantly watching maps, zooming in, seeing where the wind is, the alerts are, the news is, right? Trying to figure out what's real, what's changing. It's changing every 10 minutes. So they are doing good, but this where are we at now? Like over 1,000 acres have burned so far a house. And it's hard, you're trying to not play armchair meteorologist, but again, you're zooming in on all these satellite maps and wind patterns. Meanwhile, firefighters throwing everything they've got at this thing, air tankers, choppers, ground crews, all while, people are standing in driveways wondering if they should start putting photo albums in the car. I mean, this Sandy Fire has really got a lot of people chatting, even national news. I was just watching like CNN and they break in and talking to the fire chief of Ventura County and they're talking the Sandy Fire. So it's no doubt a big deal. So we'll keep an eye on that. Other local news. California Mid-State Fair they just took their theme back to the 80s and went big time. Honestly, this lineup, pretty exciting. First, we'll talk about Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson and family coming on July 22nd to the California Mid-State Fair. Look, at this point, Willie Nelson isn't even a person anymore. He is like a national park. He's a living landmark. The guy's 93 years old, still touring, still recording albums, still out there being cooler than people half his age. 7 decades of music, this guy. Outlaw country, Farm Aid, the braids, the guitar with the hole in it. And this dude just keeps going. It's insane. It's awesome. And then complete other end of the musical spectrum, and maybe this is less 80s, more 90s, Ice Cube is coming to the fair July 16th. That is with Warren G. That's the very first, is that the first day? That's the first day of the fair. So yeah, 1 week, the Mid-State Fair, you can go from on the road again to regulate like that. That's going to be pretty cool. Ice Cube, you're talking NWA, Friday, Barbershop, the Big Three Basketball League. Dude's been like a pop culture boss for like 40 years now. And Warren G, I mean, a lot of people just be coming for that Warren G. That G-funk sound instantly transports you, especially growing up in Southern California. The second you hear it, you're back in a car with the windows down there somewhere in like SoCal. It's going to be rad. It's going to be fun. So legendary outlaw country on one night, West Coast rap royalty on another night. Fried food carnival nights. Tickets for both shows, they go on sale this Friday morning. midstatefair.com. All right. Now here's a story that we kind of broke. We broke this story a couple weeks ago on this show with the gentleman involved, but now it's in the paper and I wanted to give them some real, timely love in case you forgot. One of Paso's longtime favorite coffee spots just got a really massive glow up. Amsterdam Coffee has officially expanded into the old Thomas Hill Organic space downtown, which means bigger kitchen, bigger dining area, that beautiful courtyard finally open again. And now they're roasting even more coffee in-house. That's pretty cool. And if you know that space, you know exactly that beautiful patio I'm talking about. Owner Corey Jordan owns it with his wife. They said for years, people would look out and go, hey, can we get out there on that patio? And they would have to say no because it belonged to Thomas Hill. They also brought in Chef Ryan Trimble. Ryan Trimble, he's a partner. He expanded their food program, brought a whole bunch of people from Kitchenette in Templeton. So like a whole bunch of them. They're just kind of like, all right, we're going to do our thing for you now. So really cool stuff. If you love Kitchenette, you're going to love what's going on at are they calling it New Amsterdam? I mean, they should. But Amsterdam was really a nod to the original name of the coffee house that lived there years ago. Kind of cool, a little like Paso Easter egg. A lot of people don't know that. But Paso's food scene just keeps leveling up. Congrats to Corey and Katie Jordan and the whole team at Amsterdam. All right, before we get into our chat with the one and only Leonard Cohen of La Esquina, let me tell you about my friends at the Mountain Air, because they've been doing this here locally for over 50 years. I'm so thankful for their support here on Up and Adam, right there on Marsh Street. They have helped generations of locals get outside at all skill levels, hiking, camping, climbing, heading to the snow, whatever it is. And what I love, it's still local. Owned by Josh and Lindsay Herring, an adorable and just passionate couple. They're passionate about the business, about this town, about each other, about their family. I just love them. You feel that when you walk in there too. It's so different. And not to smash on REI, because if you could buy local from someone who's been here 50 years and not a big, 3-letter box store that doesn't even know who you are when you walk in. You can't even see the ceilings. This is a big airplane hangar. Check them out. They've got a matching anniversary sale going on right now. TheMountainair.com. This is what local advertising is all about. Real businesses supporting real communities and keeping that connection and that earned dollar right here at home. That is what my friends do at The Mountain Air. Check them out. TheMountainair.com. The Mountain Air, San Luis Obispo.
It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some people open restaurants and some people help define the personality of a place. My guest today has been doing that in SLO for decades. From the Old Port Inn and Chipino's to now La Esquina Taqueria in downtown San Luis Obispo, Napomo, and Higuera. Leonard Cohen has built a reputation for great food, big opinions, creative ideas, and a deep love for this community. We talk about his new free parking initiative downtown that we've jumped on. It's pretty incredible. He's right there in the creamery. Also, the crazy story behind those iconic glass tables over the water back at the old Port Inn back in the day. Why modern hospitality drives him nuts sometimes. Imagine as a restaurateur that can happen. We'll also touch on his upcoming book, By the Glass, which is kind of part memoir, part Central Coast history, part love letter to the life he's built here. Leonard Cohen is in the SLO Cal studios in the house, baby. Thank you so much, Leonard, for being Up and Adam.
That's my pleasure.
It's great to have you back, my man. How is the restaurant biz right now?
It could be better.
Yeah.
but I will say, very positive. Something positive we had about 2 months ago was we finally, after 3 years, have our new parking structure.
Yes.
Right across the kitty corner from us. Modern, beautiful. I drove in there. It told you there's no parking on the first floor, but there's 18 spots on the second floor.
That's pretty cool. Isn't that crazy how it knows that?
Oh, and it's so lit up, and they really did a wonderful job. So the parking had been terrible for 3 years with all the deconstruction.
Yeah.
And we lost Dana Street, which is a street behind us because the folks that live there didn't want extra parking, so that got shut down. And then the city decided, because they realized there were going to be a shortfall on the amount of money for the new parking structure, which they already had enough money, but then they waited till after COVID, so then it went up a bunch. So they doubled the prices of the parking. And so over the last 3 years, we've saw a dramatic decrease in business in our neck of the woods. And it's very unfortunate that a lot of restaurants, a lot of businesses went out of business around us. And so we are very happy to have the parking structure.
Yes.
We are jumping up and down, and we're trying to get not only new people, but the people that gave up on us, that area. And I don't blame them, first to admit. They come downtown, there's no place to park, it's twice as expensive. They find places down in Pismo, Tascadero, Paso Robles. We're jumping up and down saying, please come to the parking structure. We're the closest restaurant right kitty corner, and we are validating.
You are making it for free.
You can say that you can come downtown to San Luis and park for free any night of the week. I have not heard that ever. So
it's huge.
It feels good to just say that.
Yeah. And the way it works is you just go to the new structure, easy, park, get your ticket, bring it in. If you're going to Esquina, say, hey, I'm parked across the street. Here's my thing. And then you give them some sort of code for when they leave.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing, though, is I tell people when they park in the other parking, I'm like, look, park in the parking structure. It's free. But a lot of people don't know, and it's hard to reach out and touch everybody to where they understand. It takes time.
Yeah,
it takes time.
Creating people. You're setting a seed, planting a seed, so they know that when they go there next, that's where they park.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, free parking, La Esquina. Tell me about the menu right now. What's cooking over there? Obviously, such great, Mexican food, Mexican seafood.
Yeah, the menu's solid. We've been running the last couple months slow roasted spare rib with a mango habanero glaze. Ooh. Delicious, melt off the bone. Homemade, fresh made every day chicken taquitos. I grew up on taquitos.
Yes.
But I love taquitos, but I always get them at the grocery store, and they were never crisp and always mushy. These are unbelievable. We always have fresh ceviche, and we're starting to do our mole. We do a mole Monday where it's chicken mole enchiladas, chicken mole tacos. We do the $10 house margarita Mondays. But we've been just kind of keeping the fresh made sauce all week long. And if someone asks for mole, we've been running on special. It's very popular. I like this mole that we do because it's got a lot of the peppers, but based with bananas versus chocolate. I don't like a sweet mole, so I really enjoy ours.
Mole is one of those things where you really got to love Mexican food because it's one of those authentic pieces of their cuisine that when you taste it, it's really, it's almost like a gravy in Italian, you know, like it's just when you have a mole done right, that almost feels like homemade and home. It's just, it's hard to beat. So, yeah, your mole is awesome.
Yeah. And we do make it all the time. And so, that's the thing about our restaurant. You know, talk about going out to restaurants. I went out the other day and paid $21 for a burger. And I'm like, dang, we've tried so hard the last 2 years we haven't raised any of our food prices. And every other cost has gone up. But we've been trying to withhold, get through this hard period with the parking and get people to come back. And we want people to embrace us. We don't want to give them another reason to be like, oh, geez, now you guys are so expensive. We've been trying to keep the price down, even though when I go to other places, they've gone up. I want to say another thing about restaurants that I noticed the other day. And this is a story that went back to 2008. Before we went to open Chipino's in San Luis, there where we are at the Creamery, I went to, and I'm not going to name the names of the restaurants, but I went to like 5 of the best restaurants. And what I noticed was on their menus was a lot of rules and a lot of restrictions. It was $20 corkage fee. It was automatic gratuity over 6 people.
Right.
It was no subs. It was don't ask the chef for this. It was like they gave you a list of things you couldn't do.
A little restrictive.
Very restrictive. I went to a restaurant yesterday. I saw it, and it was the same thing. And I'm like, dang, our restaurant.
Do you say something?
No,
Never?
I don't. I just say I'm not going back.
Because you're an opinionated dude.
No, I'm not an opinion.
Well, you have opinions. You're very good with your opinions.
I have opinions.
Yeah.
But
it's not a bad thing.
No, but you talk about this tip thing, for example.
Oh, my gosh, right.
Okay, I'm from the school of you go in and give me a lousy meal, lousy service, and lousy whatever. The bathroom's dirty. Everything's terrible. The server's a grump.
Yeah.
You earned 0 tip. If you go in and the food is phenomenal, the place is clean, the drinks are great, server is bubbling and so recommended and guides you through dinner.
Good service. Great service.
Great service. You know what? I'm the kind of person, heck with, don't give me a percentage. Man, I will make that person freaking because they deserve it.
Yeah.
What I totally dislike about anything to do with whatever's going on in this modern society is that now you go into a self-serve place and they spit out a thing and it says, do you want to leave 22%, 18%? And then there's other, and I'm like, other. I go, if the food's good and someone packages it up, I'll give like a 5% tip.
Yeah.
But what really bothers me is when they tell me that this is how it's going to be. What that means is they could screw up everything, and you're still leaving 20%. And that is, you got to vote with your wallet. I don't go to a place like that. I give them the middle finger and say, you know what? I go, you guys are supposed to earn this stuff. Don't be. But that's me.
Yeah.
That's old school.
I saw this one video literally yesterday, so I'll tell you about it. It was a woman, and a lot of the comments said it might even be fake, but it's still worthy of conversation because I'm curious what you think. It was like a $600 tab. So they bought, it was a really nice restaurant. So, maybe 5 or 6 dinners, probably opened a couple bottles of wine. And the person was like, I'm not leaving. That's like a $100 and something tip or $122 tip for 20%. It's like, what's the difference? You did the same. Was the plate heavier? So they were trying to rationalize, this woman was trying to rationalize why she only tipped, $20, $30 or whatever it was. So, because, just because your meal costs, $100 or whatever it is, should that mean the tipping more than if the meal was $20? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think I'm kind of a 20%er just base, just kind of do it as a base. If they're really good, you can go more. In some of these places where they just spin the iPad your way when they really didn't even do anything and they expect 22%, like that to me is crazy though.
It is. I go back to how I feel. because that's what tip's about.
Yeah.
You know, I think tip meant to ensure proper service or something. That was how it all came up to be. I'm old school. I can go in and I've gone to places and had very simplistic things, and everybody's been, and I don't ever look at the bill. I just give them like $20, and maybe the whole bill is $20. I don't get hung up if I'm buying and I don't, but I'm just thinking like you were sharing a $600 meal.
Yeah.
Say I bought 3 bottles of wine for $200 each, and the bill was $1,000. Do you know if I had a wonderful time, I'd leave $200. I wouldn't even think about it, because I'd be thinking, that's how much we spent, and since we decided to spend that much, and it feels good to me. But you know what? If I leave $10 on a for crap thing, it bothers me. So I don't think it's the money. I think it's how you feel. If they make you feel great, they're letting you easily peel the money or fill that credit card out at that day. If you're feeling good, things are good.
Yeah.
So I'm going more with not getting hung up how heavy the plates are or how expensive the chef is. I'm going on, if the food's good, the place is clean, and the server is freaking smiley and non-confrontational, wants to guide you.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And they're harder to find themselves, You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I got servers. I try my hardest to get good people, which is important. But there's a couple servers that are above and beyond.
Yeah.
And they know the subtle things to do. And people love them.
Oh, they ask for them when they come there.
Oh, yes. And then the moment they're done, they're not thinking anything percentage. They just always are like, hey, this was such a wonderful experience. I look forward to this all week long. Because the rest of the world's not that way.
Yeah, no, sure. You say all week long. Let's talk about all month long, because you have brought, remember, folks who love Cioppino, there's just nothing like it. And once a month on a Sunday, you will bring the Cioppino to, what is it, two times a month?
No, it's every 2 months.
Every 2 months. Got it.
Sorry.
Bi-monthly.
No worries.
So every other month, you will bring back that menu of Cioppino, which people just loved. What are the items that you bring back, and how do people know, oh my God, I got to get on this?
Well, the first thing is Cioppino's was Delta, a rough deck of cards during COVID.
Yeah.
La Esquina was Delta, straight flesh. So, it's funny how having 2 different restaurants in San Luis and how a major, whatever you want to call it, happened. Cioppino's ended up, we decided to shut it down and lease out the back part. But it was such a good restaurant and unique, and people constantly asked
fans,
about it.
For sure.
Had fans. And so instead of letting it die, like just adios, never to be seen again, we started doing what was called a Cioppino night, and we would do the highlight, the best dishes of Cioppino's on a night at La Esquina, the Mexican restaurant. But we did the whole thing. We did specialty cocktails, no corkage fee. We did the best of the best menus. And
your bacon wrapped prawns were incredible.
I love just for me to eat the Cioppino every 2 months it's such a good dish. But people, what happened was, and here's the beauty of it, they all come, which is great. They're everybody I know, which is great. It is like the who's who, and they're all getting up like the old days. They're walking over to another table. They're bringing their bottle of wine. Hey, I brought this old, try that. And then they're like, here, try this. It is the best vibe going. I love it. So we do it.
That's so cool.
Every 2 months. Yeah.
I love it. When is the next one? Where are we at?
Sunday, May 31st.
Oh, cool. So you got one coming up.
Yeah, we got one in a couple weeks.
Oh my God. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're a fan of the old school Cioppino,
oh yeah,
May 31st, Sunday, check it out.
Yeah, we do. Just to add to, you're saying, well, what's on the menu? Well, the most popular, besides the Cioppino, would be like the Chilean sea bass coated in arrowroot with a spicy sweet sauce.
We get that all the time. All the time.
The filet mignon wrapped in bacon, halibut piccata, calamari fritti, the stuffed shrimp, the sautéed mushrooms with the soy and the butter and garlic. We do the garlic mashed potatoes on the side. Our desserts, the old school Butterfinger ice cream pie.
Oh.
We pull that one out. We do the blueberry cobbler a la mode. So we do the highlights of that menu.
You know, I'm dying to ask you some old port questions because for a long time you had the Old Port Inn, and this was just another legendary spot where you could see the water through the glass tables. I mean, God, so many. I remember watching.
You should buy my book when it comes out because I tell all about like the history of like how the look down tables like start.
How did that start? I can't believe you got a book coming out. We'll talk about that in a second. But how did the tables start where we got able to see right down into the water?
Well, when I was like 6 years old, my dad had opened a fish market out on the pier, and every once in a while he'd bring me out there. And he'd hand me a fishing pole and bait it up, and I'd sit on the edge of the pier and fish and catch fish. It was kind of cool. Well, anyway, fast forward to like 1991 or something, 93. I got two young kids. They're like 5 and 3. And I was divorced at the time, and I would have the kids 2 or 3 days, while I had to work. And so I had to figure it out. I tried to not work, but sometimes I had to work. So the first time I had to work, I thought, back to my dad here. I'm going to get 2 fishing poles, hook the kids up. The problem was we had the restaurant downstairs. They had a patio that was all glassed in. And so the kids were sitting outside on the pier, on the edge of the pier with fishing poles, and they're like 3 and 5. And I'm looking at them like, no,
that's dangerous.
We ain't doing that.
Yeah.
So I bring them in. And, that one day, they eat their fish and chips and sandwiches and we go home, whatever. But it bothered me in my mind. I'm like, I got to figure this out. So the next day I saw a pier crew guy. The guy maintains the pier, one of the guys. The patio happened to be on the pier, meaning the wood planking. The other part of the restaurant was actually on a cement slab, but the expansion of the patio didn't have a cement slab. And I brought him in. I told him, I said, hey, I got these 2 kids, and I want them inside. And I was wondering, is there any way, because I know the structure of the pier, could we just cut one little like square, like maybe a foot by a foot, and just have a hole so they can fish through? And he was like, I don't see a problem with it engineering-wise. So we cut a hole. And I said, and you don't mind if I build a little, I don't want him falling in the hole either.
Right, yeah,
so I build a little barrier, a little, what do you call it?
Like a little banister or shelving.
Banister around. Yeah, I did that. So the next time the kids came, they're sitting there in chairs with poles, fishing right by me. I'm working. I can see, perfect. And then, anyway, we're good. They were still able to catch some little fish. They were happy. They'd eat. Anyway, bottom line is when we'd leave, I felt comfortable. I didn't feel like I was a reckless parent. Setting up the kids to fail by falling off the pier. Have my ex-wife call child services. So anyway, no. Yeah. So we did that. Well, anyway, I one night I'm there and working, and I look down. It's just dark, and I got this idea. I want to put a light down there. Call a buddy of mine up who's an electrician. I said, hey, next time you come out, got to work on a project. Can we get under the pier and put a light? I want to see down there. And he's like, why? I go, I got a hole. I got a hole in the pier. I want to look down and see the water. And he says, I go, if my kids come at night and you got the light, it actually brings the fish to they're attracted to the light. Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, make a long story short, after a period of time, next thing I know, I asked the port, could I make the hole bigger? I got my contractor there. We built a table with mirrors in it. We did one. And we did that for like 3 months. It's funny because we wanted to see if it was a pain in the ass, if it worked, if people liked it. It became more of you walk through the restaurant and it's like a tour, a tour group, and here's this table, and everybody's, oh my God.
It became like the table to get.
And then we put them all in, and it was freaking rocking. Yeah, that was, it was a cool thing to do because no one had done it before.
Yeah, that's
the pier had
pretty
been
neat.
there a long time.
Yeah. The history of that pier. I mean, we were talking off the air that really like that the county started booming in a lot of ways far, far ago, a long time ago, because of the industry that was created and blossomed from activities on that pier, right?
Well, just the construction of the pier. The town of San Luis in the late 1770s was pretty much, Spaniard, missionaries, Chumash Indians, few people growing crops. It was basically on the mission trail. It was a place to stop. They were more interested in working with the native Chumash. But as San Luis grew, because it was a beautiful place, it had its limits, meaning there was no lumber around here, so there was no wood. So they're working pretty much with your straw and your adobe. And the farmers were really only able to grow what the amount of population was there because there was no exporting of anything. So there was no importing of anything and no exporting of anything. So we were pretty much all by ourselves. This gentleman, John Hartford, he was a steamship captain up in San Francisco, very successful one. And he would captain these steamers, and he'd go by Morro Bay and go by, well, I guess we call Port San Luis at the time. He just looked at it as a natural harbor. And he'd go to L.A. and then back to San Francisco, back to L.A. And well, he said, he goes, I think I'm going to go down there when I retire from being a captain. And I'm going to talk to these guys because they're missing out. We could tap into that whole steamer line that's just right in front of them. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he moved down to San Luis, and he wanted to get investors and get permission from the city in the county to put a pier so that the steamers could come in and dock and unload or do whatever they're going to do. And the funny thing that put it over the top, meaning made it work, was we were getting our mail once a week through Wells Fargo, through the the horses and carriages. You know what I mean? Well, you got it.
Yeah.
Well, he said, steamers, they're down here at least 3 times a week. We get our mail 3 times a week. And that was the thing that put it over the top. They're like,
cool.
We can do it.
Yeah.
He also had tremendous amount of influence and connections with the Chinese labor out of San Francisco. So he brought down a lot of the Chinese labor. So when you see here in San Luis, Chinatown, almost in a way you can thank him for it. They built the rails out to the pier. They built, the pier got built in, 1883 or something. Next thing you know, steamers are coming in. That means furriers, guys hunting things, could sell their furs. Wood was coming from the Sierras through San Francisco down, so people were building. San Luis started building, and then you had people coming. People could come, travel. So you had people, and then you had the people here producing the Santa Maria growers were able to cart their stuff up, or as time went on, put it on narrow gauge railroad and bring it up and sell it. So the economy grew, the building grew through the pier.
Yeah.
Then, so the pier, everything's growing. The Cuesta grade was a natural barrier. So meaning San Francisco was going off, LA was going off, San Luis was not going off. We were in the middle, but we were able to tap into steamships. But once they figured out how to do a rail system over the Cuesta grade, make it kind of wind down so it had a natural grade that it could either go up or go down. Next thing you know, now the rail was going.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, more commerce, more people, more growth. And
so it was huge. It was really big.
It was. Well, the rail started going, and then the steamship industry went kind of kibbutz because the rail system took it over. It was modernization is what we call it. Well, guess what? The rail system took a backseat when trucks and cars and things and roads were paved, and then all of a sudden the rail system took a backseat to trucking and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's been a really interesting San Luis has a lot of really interesting history that a lot of people don't know about. And growing up on the pier, I learned a lot about it by fighting for our pier to survive, because our port had it in their mind that they wanted to tear that darn thing down so many times. So we fought it. But it's also in the book that I was writing, or that I've completed. It started as give my kids, I have 5 kids, give my kids recipes from my 4 restaurants. I thought that was a good thing. And then it was, no, I can't just give them the recipes. I got too much other stuff in my brain. I got to give them some history of the area. Oh, and I need to give them some of the hints of when they were growing up to remind them some of the stuff that we did, and then the trips that I did. And pretty soon it became more of a life of Leonard. What motivated me to open a new restaurant? What was the what was
so
the
it's
genesis?
Like kind of memoir, kind of little, you got recipes in there as well.
Four restaurants worth of recipes. Yeah, a lot of recipes.
Cool. That's great. So it sounds like a little bit of everything. And
it is.
What do we call it? What do we title it?
It's By the Glass.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's a story behind that. So
I love it. Tell me when this is available.
I hope it's end of June.
And where can we buy it? Like Amazon stuff?
Yeah, but you can get it out at Esquina.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'll sign it.
That's cool. You got little book signings.
People, will you sign it? I'm like, really? I mean, me, I'm like,
yeah.
What do you want me to say? Thank you for buying my book. No, my thing is, here's a book, buy it. If you don't love it, come back. I'll give you your money back. But it's a lot about my life.
It's great.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good book.
You.
It's got a lot of...
I love the name, By the Glass.
Yeah, there's a story. But I'll tell you one thing. I learned a lot of stuff. I learned why people don't write books, or especially books like my first book, The Adventure, this By the Glass. I will tell you, the first thing you do, write a fiction. Don't write a nonfiction. I gave my wife the kind of, the manuscript of the book,
right? Before
any photos, before any recipes.
Did she tear it up?
Well, she read it and she handed it back, and I said, "What do you think?"
Yeah,
and she said, "Do you want to have any friends left when this book is published?" I'm like, "It's all true." Yeah, I go, "It's all 100% true."
Do we expose some things in this book?
Yeah. Well, no. What happened is she goes,
"You take all the juicy stuff out."
Yeah,
Hope you left some of the juicy stuff in.
Yeah, a little bit. She said, look, yes, it's true. But you would have to call all these people and get their permission to tell about this. And I'm like, ugh.
You don't want to get sued either.
Right. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then, so that was first thing. So there went all the... But if it was fiction...
Change the names of people.
I could just have so much fun. Anyway, so the second thing was recipes. I'll never write a book again that has recipes, because you got to do the recipes. Then you got to make sure the recipes work for the consumer.
Yep.
Then you give it to the editor, and the editor reads it and says, well, and I'm like, and he's like, why do you want that recipe in the book? I'm like, I don't know. It was a good recipe.
Yeah.
So then so bottom line, if you think you're writing your own book, you're not. You're writing a book, and then everybody, they do what they want.
Apart.
Yes.
Is the cioppino recipe in the book?
Yeah, of course it is.
Of course. You got the good ones in there. Ooh.
I even did this. I was talking to, I'm learning ways around things. I said, look, here's what I want to do. I make my own cioppino, and I call it the reserve cioppino. I'm going to go write on a notepad everything I do for the reserve cioppino, and I want you to put it in handwritten right next says Leonard's Hot Tips or reserve cioppino.
Yeah.
Because that's important, I mean? So I add things in. They take stuff off, I add stuff in.
Yeah.
They edit all my photos.
I can't wait to see this.
That's fun. But the thing is, too, I have all these cool photos, and they edit them out. And I'm like...
You got to have editors, Leonard.
No,
I know you and I, we don't want to be edited, but you got to have editors, especially in a book. They know what's up. We don't.
Anyway, I'm never writing a book like this again, and it's not cheap.
Yeah.
This thing costs some money. My next book, which is I'm
You're already on a second book?
I'm on a second book, and it's going to be it's going to crush it. But and here's the reason why: no photos, it's fiction, and there's no recipes. But also, I found something. I was going to have a chapter in my book because my grandfather fought in World War II.
Yeah,
a couple men I knew that I'd met fought in World War II. When a World War II person wants to tell you a story, it's a story because they wouldn't waste their time if it was like trivial.
Sure.
It was like I heard some stories.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I can tell you a couple, but that aren't in the new book going to be. But I got a story. I was going to do a chapter, and I learned this, and I was like blown away by these guys' stories. I'm like, a book should be written about this.
This is a whole book.
Anyway, so I talked to a friend of mine, and I tell him, and he says, "Okay, pull that out of the book." He goes, "We'll do a movie with it. We're gonna do a great book." And I'm like, "Sounds good to me." He was blown away. He loved it. He's like, "God." So anyway, I found when I was interviewing one gentleman, he told me some things of what he did in World War II. Well, He when he told it to me, I had more questions when he was done than answers.
Yeah.
So I started doing research on it, and it just opened up more and more doors. And I was
discovered some stuff.
I did. And then, that was.
So that's the next book.
That's the next book, and it's going to be phenomenal.
And you're saying it might even become.
It better freaking become a movie. I'd watch it.
Who do you want to play the main character? You've probably already casted this in your head.
Do you know? I want Woody Harrelson to play the flight instructor out of Pensacola, Florida, in World War II.
Yeah.
Because his personality, we don't even know anything. I haven't told anybody about the book, meaning we haven't talked about it. But yes,
that sounds cool.
Yeah, I need a 21, 22-year-old Peter Pan personality.
That Timothy Chalamet, everyone is into him.
Is that? I don't know. I was thinking Powell, whatever the kid from Top Gun, but he's old.
Sure.
He's too old.
Yeah, you need a young.
I wanted Clint Eastwood to be the storyteller because this book is literally
like a narrator.
Yeah, well, like he was there. It was him, but now it's now.
Oh, I get it. What you mean? Like it's a flashback kind of.
Yeah, he tells about. He's like, this is the greatest pirate story in modern history.
Really, it's a pirate.
It's a pirate story.
Related.
Well, it is. And here's the thing: I can talk about this, but I can't talk about too much else. When you can blend in the Caribbean, let's just throw Caribbean. Then you throw in gold.
Sure.
Then you throw in rape and pillaging.
Yeah.
What do you think of?
Think of like Pirates of the Caribbean.
And then you think of sinking of ships.
You think of the Titanic.
No. We think of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Those four things are like that's it.
Of course.
That's this book in 1941.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what this turns into.
Except it's a U-boat from Germany.
Yeah.
Doing all this crap.
Oh my
I
God.
can't see.
You can't. No FCC here. You're all good. So that's really interesting.
And there's gold and all. It's all French gold.
Yeah. All right.
I'm telling you. And it's all based on real stuff.
What's your timeline for this one? Probably a little while. Another year.
I can write this. I can get this done in 6 months. There's no recipes, no photos, and it's fiction. Well, I can create my thing.
We're going to be able to get By the Glass.
Yes.
At the end of June.
I hope so, yes.
And
at La Esquina. That'd be fun, yeah.
And then make sure you go there for your Chipino nights. But the main reason we wanted to have you in here and
parking
is
probably
to say it from the mountaintop. We have free parking, and this was a great idea. You have this magic that you're able to pull that allows people to park in the new structure, come to La Esquina, do your wizardry, and then they get to have their parking covered.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You've made free parking downtown slow.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, I guess I'll be famous for free parking in downtown. It costs me some money, but the point is we got to do something.
You got to get people in there. We got to do
something. Yeah, got to get them back. We lost them.
Lunch and dinner there?
No, just dinner. Dinner. 7 nights a week. 7
nights a week, dinner. La Esquina. What time do we open?
5.
La Esquina. Is it .com or is it La Esquina? Yeah, La Esquina SLO.com. And you can go, we'll put links in the show notes to everything. Don't forget, May 31st, Chipino night.
Yep.
That's going to be really cool.
Yep.
And then what I love is when I go in there, you get to see Leonard's in there often. You're often in there mixing it up with people. Or
I still enjoy my job.
Yeah.
I love people.
Yeah, look what you've done.
I love projects too. My wife,
You're always on to something. That's what I love about you. You're like, Adam, taste this. Or I got a book coming out. Or I got this. I mean, you're always into stuff. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. I try to keep myself busy.
Yeah. You ever thinking of a new restaurant? It seems like you're always doing that too.
I'm thinking of books right now.
Yeah, okay, you're on the books.
I'm on the books
on
right
the
now.
author.
And when I'm done with those, and then a movie, then maybe another restaurant. I don't know.
You're kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know where.
I love it. I love that you told us the story of the tables. That was super cool.
Yeah.
Never knew that. Love learning about John Hartford. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look, we got Avila Beach right next to you right there in that picture.
Yeah, I got a lot of stories on Avila Beach too. There was, all that Unical stuff. People didn't know really what was going on. I was actually, I'm not that much of an esoteric narcissist person, but I did play a little role in it, and a silent role. Because the funny thing is I'm sorry for all you folks that maybe hate Unical or are against, politically against. I tried to tell them and to teach them all the things they did wrong over the many years that got them into their spot, because I lived there.
Right.
So I found an ear from them, and as time went on, higher up ears. And all I tried to do was tell them, and it wasn't political. It was, you hurt these people.
Neighborly kind of stuff.
Yeah, you didn't do what was right at the time. And they were like, well, what should we do? And I'd sit there and I just talk to them, tell them. And next thing I know, they did what I said. And they saved a lot of money on, a lot of lawsuits. They detuned the lawsuits from the environmentalists. But it was all their fault. I was easily able to say, hey, you guys screwed up. And instead of them going, well, they were like, okay, what can we do? That was the most beautiful interaction I had with the corporates out of LA that no one else had. They didn't want to talk to anybody else. They didn't want to talk to Avila. They didn't want to talk to the Coastal Commission. They didn't want to talk to the Water Board. They were being raked over the coals by everybody, Fishing Game, San Luis County.
Yeah.
But me, they would come and sit and just say, here's what we got going on with the Water Board or with our county supervisor, or here's what we got going. What do you think? And all of a sudden, I'm this young kid, but they appreciated a fresh approach. But I always was looking out for the people.
Leonard Cohen, the ambassador.
I probably was.
Peacekeeper.
Yeah, but no one knew that. It was all top secret.
The
because
underground advocate.
I didn't want anybody to know.
Look at this.
they would have crucified me.
Yeah, because you were talking like friendly to Unical.
Yes, and I was a restaurateur, so I wanted everybody to come.
But what does a good restaurateur do? Brings you to the table.
Yeah, and yes.
That's what it's about, baby. Yes.
Yep.
This was a great conversation. We'll have to have you back in after the book.
Sure.
I want to see it in my hands. I want to sign copy.
Oh, when the book, this book, we can come to have fun. You'll have to read it like ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then you'll like go, Leonard, I got to ask you lots of questions.
How are the mussels doing over there, Esquina? I love the mussels. You still do that dish?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Whenever you do, that's good.
We usually do it on Chipino night.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. You still do La Esquina food on Chipino night?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Can you believe we do 2 restaurants in one night?
That's incredible. People got to know this.
Yeah, it's actually nuts.
You learned a lot in this conversation with Leonard Cohen. First of all, what is it like to grow up with the name Leonard Cohen after the musician?
You know what? There's a chapter in my book.
Of course there is.
I got to talk to Leonard Cohen.
Really? You probably told him that you're the real Leonard Cohen, didn't you?
No, I did not. No, he said, I heard you have a great restaurant, because his manager was eating at the restaurant.
Oh, shoot.
He was eating at Chipino's.
Yeah.
And the manager walks in, and I don't know who this guy is. And he's talking to me, and he sits down. It's packed, and nice guy. I talked to him. I said, yeah, I'm Leonard Cohen. He goes, you're Leonard Cohen? I said, yeah, I'm Leonard Cohen. He goes, you're the Leonard Cohen from Canada? I go, no, I'm just the Leonard Cohen from San Luis. But I could tell you this, my whole life, people have always been giving me CDs and 8-track tapes from Leonard Cohen. Anyway, about, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes later, he waves me over. He says, that was a wonderful meal. And he hands me the phone. He says, here. And I go, what? He goes, so I go, hello? And he goes, is this Leonard? I go, yeah. He goes, this Leonard? I go, huh? He goes, I'm down in Australia. He goes, that's my manager that's having dinner at your restaurant.
This is Leonard Cohen. Hallelujah, Leonard Cohen
Yes.
on the phone with you. What
and
a trip.
I'm like, whoa. I go, really? Anyway, so we talk a little bit. And he says, hey, if I ever come up, he goes, my manager loves your restaurant. We're going to come up. I'd love to meet you. I go, oh my gosh, I'd love to share stories with you because I've always been in your shadow because, 4 months later, he dies in L.A.
Wow.
Never got a chance, but I got a chance to talk to him.
Billy Bob ever come in yet? He's new to town.
No, but I would expect by the people I know that he hangs around.
Bob Saget used to come in there.
They'll bring him.
I remember I had a great story. I'll end with this. I had a great story in Chipino. Bob Saget was there. And because you never charge corkage fee, I would always bring 2 bottles. And then depending what I ordered, I would choose what bottle to open based on the food. And so, we always go home with the bottle that we didn't open. And I saw Bob Saget there and I was like, oh my God, I've been a fan of this guy's comedy. Of course, grew up with him on TV. So I just offered him the bottle that we didn't drink. And he's like, great. He finds who I am. I said, I just introduced my name. I get a, what do you call it? Letterhead. A handwritten note on Bob Saget letterhead to the radio station. And he says, hey, I wanted to say I really enjoyed that bottle of wine. It was great to meet you. Thanks again, Bob. I guess his daughter was going to Cal Poly. That's how a lot of these people come up here. But Bob Saget in Chipino, there you go.
Yeah, we do get a lot of famous people, and you hit it right on the thing, is they have kids going to Cal Poly, which is way cool.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Well, look, nothing wrong with some free parking if you park in the new structure in the, what do they call that? That Culture and Arts?
Palm Street.
Culture and Arts District.
Yes.
Yes, it's right there in that
name.
new structure. Oh, don't give me the interesting name. Do we got opinions?
Huh? No. I have no problem. It's called Palm Street. I just think it was the Palm Street structure.
Yeah.
If it's the cultural arts structure, I guess that's coming, meaning they're going to build it or something.
Oh, right. Got it.
Yeah.
We are kitty corner from La Esquina. It's the brand new structure. What happens, you park in there, bring your ticket over, 2 hours free parking.
Yeah.
They got you covered. We got the one and only Leonard Cohen here. So much history, so much in-depth conversation. I love it that you just give it to us, my man. This is great time. Thank you, Leonard, for being up and out. Appreciate you.
Always a pleasure.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
I love that. What a chat. How a fishing hole for the kids turned into one of the most iconic dining experiences that we remember here. You can check out La Esquina Taqueria right downtown in the Creamery. And of course, that new structure, that cultural arts structure, you just park there, bring your ticket over, 2 hours free parking. Also go to slowfreeparking.com for more. What a show. All right, before we get out of here, I want to thank my friends at Benny's Pizza for being Up and Adam, supporting the show. We're talking that thick Detroit style, crispy pan fried crust sauce on top, bottom, flavor in every single bite. Wherever you want the sauce, they'll put it there. Happy hour 4:30 to 6:30, $3.50 domestic cans, $2 off premium beer and wine, and check them out for lunch. That's the greatest day. You go to Benny's for lunch and then go to La Esquina for dinner. Benny's Pizza. It's not just where you eat, it's where you land. 805-439-3838. Check them out in Upper Monterey. And they are great for lunch. They'll get you in and out in 35 minutes. Get you back to work easy. A little pizza, a little slice, a little salad, maybe a soda. Boom. All right. Okay. Let's see what else we got going on. The weekend is slowly arriving. Tomorrow, we're going to have on Molly Kern. She is from the Food Bank. She's the executive director, the CEO of the SLO Food Bank. These folks do, as you know, you must know, right? They do incredible work. How they're able to take $1. I want to ask her that tomorrow. Because when we spend $1, we can go out and buy something for $1 and then give it to somebody who needs food. But when their dollar stretches farther than our dollar. Further, farther, both, right? You know what I mean. So we're going to talk to Molly Kern about that. Also, their open house is coming up in about 10 days. Don't want you to miss that. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So Molly Kern, she's always just such a smart woman, really knows her stuff. Always love talking to her. So Molly Kern tomorrow on the show in the SLO Studios. I want to thank our friends Moonshiner Collective for original music on this show called Start Again. Stream them wherever you get your music. Also, you can learn more, moonshinercollective.com. We're also a day away. I think there's still some tickets left to check out Próxima Parada with the SLO Symphony. That's going to be cool. Go to paxslo.org for that. And what else is coming up on the show? We're going to be talking to Barbie from the Paso Youth Arts Center soon. They got an event called Pinot and Paella. It's a festival that's always at the Templeton Park. It's a great festival. They've been doing it for years and years. This year it happens Sunday, June 7th, 2 to 5, bringing together talented local chefs, more than 20 wineries that pour exceptional Pinot Noir, live music. It's, again, a benefit for the Paso Robles Youth Arts Center. They do incredible work. So we'll talk more about that, but if you can learn more, go to pinotandpaella.com, and you can learn all about this incredible festival June 7th. Yeah, and we'll be bringing them in the studio too soon. So we love what we're doing, keeping it local. We also love when we get these national artists like, who did we have the other day? Michael Chiklis, actor. That was pretty cool. So appreciate you more than you know for being here, for connecting, sharing. You know, you could rate, review, subscribe to this show wherever you listen to it. Brand new episode of The Pour is out right now. Wherever you're hearing this, you can hear that. Also got a brand new episode of Where Wine Takes You. So thank you so much for giving a listen and sharing this show with a friend. We are recorded at SLO Studios in the heart of San Luis Obispo County, California. SLO, where the wine is world class, the people are real, and life is too beautiful to rush. For turns well taken, visit slocal.com. That's SLOCAL, slocal.com. Till tomorrow, I'm Adam Montiel. Thank you again for being Up and Adam.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again. Let's start again. We'll start again. Let's start again.